Our next panel is going to be amazing. As I quickly gave you guys a quick preview of what we're going to be talking about, we have an amazing panelist, and it's going to be talking about the art of creation. As beauty entrepreneurs, it is so important that we understand that we can not only make money by simply the services that we provide physically, and we have to start thinking of other ways. And I've put together a panel of individuals in this industry who have done a little bit of everything, and they have found ways to be creative and figure out ways to think about this industry and how they're going to bring in income and do something aside from physically providing a service only. So to get right into it, I'm going to bring in our moderator, Miss Gabrielle.
Hi.
I hope that you are doing well today, girlfriend. How are you?
I am. Girl, I am so inspired right now. I've been taking notes. Like, I feel like, this is just amazing, Yanae. I just want to start off by saying to everyone, because I don't think they know this, you literally plant this in a few days.
Yes, I did. So I'm like, all the fields are for many reasons.
Right. And this is amazing. I'm so excited to share the knowledge that these ladies are going to bring to this table. And I'm just happy to be here.
So to get right started, I'm going to bring in our panelists, and then I'm going to hop off and let Gabrielle do what she does. So first in, I want to bring in Monica, better known as Mo Knows Hair. If you could say hello to everybody, darling. You're muted, I think.
Hello.
Now, there we go.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a part of this. Marquetta Breslin, come on in.
Thank you, Yanae. This is amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
You're
thank you. Marquetta helped me with behind the scenes tech. I wouldn't have figured this whole entire platform out if it wasn't for her. So shout out to Marquetta Breslin, and Gabrielle and Ericka have been great on the back end, just helping encourage me to do this. I've had slip ups. There's been a lot. But thank you. Ericka Dotson, I'm gonna bring you in.
Hey everyone.
And then finally, Mrs. Tiyana Robinson coming to the crowd.
I'm so excited to be here.
All right, so I'm gonna step out. Gabrielle, do what you do, and I will see you.
Okay. All right. Hey, ladies. I am so excited that you guys are here today. And I'm just going to switch it up a little bit, because what I've noticed in the past working with beauty professionals is that you guys are so humble. And you don't tell everybody all the amazing things that you're known for. So I want to give you all your introductions, okay? So I have to start off with Monica Stevens. She's known as Mo Knows Hair. She's a licensed cosmetologist, an influencer, a product innovator, and her products are exclusively sold at Sally Beauty. I mean, that's amazing, okay?
Thank you.
Next up, we have Ericka Dotson. She is the co-founder and creative director of Indique Hair, which is she is the first African-American woman to retail and brand premium hair extensions globally.
That's amazing.
Okay. And next up, Miss Marquetta Breslin is a licensed cosmetologist, educator, and author. She's the creator of systems such as Lace Wig Training System, Cutting Mastery, and $1 Million Stylist. And last but not least, Miss Tiyana Robinson. She's a pro makeup artist and founder of Makeup Mogul University, where she teaches makeup artists and beauty pros how to create money on demand by offering online courses, classes, and digital and physical products, which, let me just tell you guys right now, that is so needed, especially during a time like this where we are all stuck in the homes, right?
Okay.
Yes.
So I am excited to start this conversation because content creating is near and dear to my heart. Just a little bit about myself. I'm the brand manager for Indique Hair, and I've been with the company for almost 10 years now, I have to say. I think, about 10 years. And content is king, right? People really don't know about you unless you're sending out content that really resonates to your audience. And so, Marquetta, I really want you to lead this conversation today. And the first question that I have for you is, as digital platforms continue to be a place for beauty experts to highlight their work, how can they use this space to elevate their business and generate revenue?
So I always say, I love this question because a lot of people don't realize that our destinies are connected to other people's destinies. So it's really important as educators, as professionals, that if we have it in us to teach, that it's important that we actually go out and do that. And so you can do that in many different forms, just like the beautiful Tiyana Robinson. She's just so gorgeous to me.
Isn't she?
Like she's doing, yes, with online classes, and everybody's beautiful. Let me just say that everybody on here is beautiful. But just like she's teaching people how to create online classes and all of that stuff, and consulting, and you can do small group classes. People don't value what they do enough. They don't really understand that what you do, what is second nature to you, may be the thing for somebody else that takes them over the edge and makes them this amazing hairstylist or makeup artist or beauty professional. So I have to start by saying that, number one, what you do, even though it may be second nature to you, is amazing to someone else. And it might be that thing that they need to push themselves forward. So you have to say yes, and you have to do it if it's in you to do it, because not everybody's a teacher. Not everybody's built for that. Then I want to say that it also, a lot of that is tied to your platform as well, and making sure that you are providing valuable content that people can consume with no ulterior motive. I think that's really important. A lot of people miss the mark on that. They push a lot of stuff out, and it's done with ulterior motives, and people can see straight through that. So I think when you're authentic to yourself and you provide that valuable content, when it's time for you to say, hey, I'm launching a course or whatever it is you do, number one, you've demonstrated on your platform how to do the thing that you do. And number two, is going to be much easier for somebody to say yes, because what you're doing is you're building trust by building that platform and providing that valuable content. So I think it's extremely important if you have that thing in you to get that thing out there to the world, because somebody's destiny is attached to what you do.
Right. You just dropped so many gems just now, but I say to people often that consumers, they're incredibly smart. They don't want to be sold to. You need to provide content to them that they can actually learn and use in their everyday lives. So what you said about being transparent and authentic, that's definitely needed in this day and age, especially when you're selling beauty products, right? So Tiyana, I want to switch the conversation a little bit into some advertising and branding strategies that you found to resonate with your audience during this time, especially being quarantined in our homes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for that question. And it's Tiyana, by the way. But I think the most important thing, especially in this time, is like now is the time to show up and really build community with your audience, right? Like this is our opportunity to be that expert, to be that person that's sharing tips and tricks, because we're out here struggling, looking a mess. I like to definitely put myself together, but women all over the world are like, how do I maintain my hair? How do I maintain my nails? My brows are looking a mess. And so they're looking to their beauty service providers for those answers, right? And so often we find ourselves hiding behind our brush, right? We think that what we do is who we are, and that's not it. So I think this is the season to really look into establishing a personal brand and showing up authentically, echoing what Marquetta just said. It's like, we just got to share what we know, because what we know has value. I think the second part of that is creating solutions that your customers can use now, right? So many makeup artists and beauty pros are like, I feel bad selling to my audience now. But like, they need our solutions. They need that makeup class. They need that twist out class, or those nail tips that they need those solutions. So this is the season to build that personal brand, build community with your audience, show up and create content that people want to consume and connect with. And also on the back end of that, thinking beyond the brush and thinking, how can I monetize right now by creating solutions for my customers and my audience?
Absolutely. I mean, just yesterday when I was trying to figure out like what my hair was going to look like today, I realized I don't know how to wash my own hair or shampoo, right? I don't know how to do it. I
Right.
miss going to the salon. So I had to go onto YouTube and figure out how do I deep condition my hair so I don't look crazy today. So that is just, it's so needed, the education and just being there so that the consumers right now can purchase, because they are, let's be honest, they're out there, they're buying products. And a lot of women of color specifically, they want to purchase from other women of color, men of color.
Right.
So, and that's just so necessary for stylists and beauty professionals to have that physical product that they can support, right?
100%.
Right. So, Miss Monica, this question is geared towards you, which I am a huge fan, by the way, of what you do.
Thank you.
So, what techniques and platforms have you found to provide a space for you to pitch your expertise to brands and media companies to elevate your digital presence?
I honestly just really prefer the old-fashioned, can I call you?
That's deep.
I'm
That's deep because people don't like to speak.
than a lot of the influencers in the beauty space. I mean, I'm in my late 30s. I didn't grow up with, you know, emailing as a primary way to talk to people. So I'm just like, you know, it is going to be so much easier for me to talk through what I want to tell you, to hear your tone and response if we just get on the phone, you know, instead of a 10 message deep back and forth via email that's going nowhere. I feel like those are good things to do with established relationships, of course. People that you've already done, you've met in person, you've worked with. So then it's like, okay, I know your tone. I know what these words mean when you say them. I know, you know, nothing's going to be misconstrued here. But I feel like when it comes to, you know, talking to multiple people in multiple spaces, it's just so much easier to say, you know what, just call me. People send for long emails and like,
oh my God,
can you answer these questions for me? And then this and this and this. And I'm like, I reply back, please call. Because this is just gonna go all kinds of ways. So I always tell people, if you're looking to send out information about your brand, if you're wanting to introduce yourself, have a press kit. You know, good old-fashioned press kit, 1-page thing with your picture on it, your social stats, your website numbers, and a little bio about who you are and what you do. I always tell people you should have your own website, and that should be on there because you should be able to send people a quick link. You shouldn't have to be searching for attachments, because a lot of times they get caught in spam filters and things like that. So a quick 1-page media kit with a, hey, can we jump on the phone? Or if someone is inquiring to you, hey, call me, especially if you don't know the person.
Absolutely. And I mean, especially in this day and age, building your personal brand is very important, and especially with what Tiyana had recently mentioned. And when you're sending out that press kit, don't be afraid to slide into someone's DM, okay? I do that often. I'll like 10 of their photos in a row, and then I'll go into their direct message, say, hey, girl, it's me, right? But I do feel like some people are a little bit more hesitant in reaching out to someone that they don't know because there's that fear, right? In the session right before this one, they touched on, you know, having fear and just, you know, being hesitant and doing things like that. But right now you have to shoot your shot, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on certain opportunities, right?
Absolutely. It goes down in the DMs. For real.
Right.
Amazing relationships with brands just on the social media connections. That's how I connected with Black Opal and, you know, so many brands just by building a relationship first on social media. So I think that's so important.
Right. It's so funny. Tiyana, I actually met you a few years ago. You did one of my best friend's makeup for her wedding. And I had no idea that you were this like beauty mogul. And I will say you were so humble. Everyone was asking tons of questions, like, how do I do my eyeliner? How do I put this lash on? And you were just very, very nice. And so I feel like as a creative, you have to also resonate being humble and being nice to your audience, because you never know who you're going to be speaking to, right?
Yeah.
So I want to go into to shift a little bit and talk more about like being mentally, holistically, and creatively sound, especially during this time. So Ericka, I'm going to phrase this question to you because I just know. I mean, I work with you every day. For those who don't know, Ericka's my boss. So and we talk about spirituality and being like mentally strong on every single day, right? So what advice can you provide to fellow beauty professionals who are finding themselves mentally and creatively stuck right now?
Right. So I think the most important thing right now is to really go within. And what I mean by going within is to block out all of the distractions. And I know that that's really difficult, especially with all of the social media and the feeds that are just running through your mind, and you see so many different aspects of different businesses, right? So you could be creatively stuck. Say you're trying to think of exactly what your next step should be, but you're inundated with tons of information. So just to kind of piggyback on what we were talking about earlier in regards to creativity and launching your brand in a really creative way. Back in 2007, when we launched Indeed, there was no social media. It didn't exist. So I had to be super creative. Also, there wasn't a hair company for me to even get information from or inspiration from. At the time I was ordering all of my hair, this is when I was behind the chair, before I launched Indeed, I would order my hair from Extensions Plus out of California. Now, Extensions Plus, it was the go-to spot and they had the bomb hair, but there was no branding. I love Helene. I love her. I know her, love her. She's like the godmother of all of this. But there wasn't any branding. So basically what I did, I was like, okay, I need to fill the void. What are the things that I think I can provide through Indeed to my clients? So simple things like at that time, a lot of people didn't have like relevant websites with a number that you can call to speak with someone. Those were voids that I was filling back then. People were going to the regular beauty supply stores, and they were, when you used to go to those beauty supply stores, you couldn't even touch the hair. It was almost as if you were going in and acting as if you were going to rob the place. You remember that? Yeah. These were things that I had to go through. So just imagine trying to figure out how I'm going to sell a product and then also trying to be mentally sound through all of this. It was very difficult. Like I worked my butt off. So just trying to maneuver through a new territory, which is what a lot of us are going to be doing right now with this COVID messes out here, right? You're going to be maneuvering, you're trying to figure things out. But I think the most important thing to do is try to fill a void. And even above that, make sure that it's something that sits well with your soul, right? Because there's no way that you can flourish if it doesn't feel right. Every single thing that I do every day, and when I founded this brand, it had to feel right. Because if it doesn't feel right for you, your customers are going to know that. It's not going to be genuine. It's not going to be organic. It's not going to feel unique. It's not coming from the heart. So everything I do, it has to come from the heart. And so I suggest that you do that, because you might find yourself, you may be financially successful, but 3 years down the road, you're going to be burned out. You're going to be like, I can't believe I got myself into this. What's more important? Maybe money is not it. Maybe my sanity and my peace is what it should be. So as you're maneuvering through this new environment and trying to get some financial gain, or even just doing like a complete pivot in your career, you should really, really just kind of go within. Things that I do, I meditate, I pray, I take herbs, I have my oils, all sorts of things that I do that help me. I make sure I get some sun. I do some grounding in the grass. It's all sorts of things that over the years I found that help me. I have like specific herbs that I use for specific moments. But you may have your thing that you know, works for you. Maybe it's just reading a book or working out. And I know that these things just sound very average, but it could do a world of good for you. And what happens is when you're in those moments, things will come to you. And really, at the end of the day, what's for you is for you, right? But that's not going to come to you. Those little moments of those aha moments, unless you have your heart open, you're at peace, and your mind is free to gather all of the information that needs to come to you. So yeah,
that's key right there, Ericka, the aha moment.
Yeah.
So I want to ask each one of you, when did you receive that aha moment to say, okay, I need to start this company, and I'm going to eventually be in Sally Beauty, or I'm going to start these online courses so I can educate my beauty professionals. So Marquetta, I'm going to start it off with you. When did you get that aha moment?
So my aha moment was built out of a very, very stressful situation. My mom had been diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, and she was wearing some of the most hideous wigs I've ever seen. And she didn't care. My mom would have walked around bald. She did not care. But at the same time, she did care because she still wanted to cover up and not look like what she was going through. So that was when I had my aha moment and said, okay, Mom, I got to make something for you that you can't go buy out of a store, because you should not have to look like what you're going through. And so that's when I realized there's nothing around to teach anybody how to do this for cancer patients, people who suffer from alopecia. And if it was at that time back in 2006, I didn't know it existed. And so I set my life's mission to figure it out. And then once I did and made the first wig for my mom, and it just totally changed her perception about how she was feeling about herself in that moment during what she was going through. So I said, okay, God, how can I scale this? Because I don't want to make them for the rest of my life, but how can I do this so that I can teach other people how to do it, and then they can go, and it keeps going like that? Because at that time, wig making was a dying art. Yeah. And so I developed the lace wig training system, and I did this while I was still active duty in the Air Force with my husband. Wow. 2 children that were 13 months apart.
What?
It was crazy. Wow. But I only said that to say this, because I sometimes hear people making excuses about, well, I don't have time, or I can't do this, or now we all have time. We got a lot of time right now. But don't make those excuses. Don't allow your mind to talk you out of something that you gotta do. And so I just pushed forward, but that was my aha moment. Like, okay, I have to do this. And if this wig could change my mom's perception about how she felt about what she was going through in that moment, then I need to teach other people how to do this so they can go and do the same thing for other people.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Monica, when did you get your aha moment?
So I would say I'll go back to the beginning of like starting to even want to create my platform, Mono's Hair. It was definitely me wanting a career in beauty in the marketing and branding side. I come from corporate America, higher ed, always done branding, PR, stuff like that. And I was applying for jobs with beauty companies, and nobody was calling me back because I didn't have beauty industry experience. I had, more than 10 years of, professional experience. I had the undergrad and the graduate degree in business, but that little caveat of looking for 5 to 10 years of beauty experience. And I'm like, I've been doing hair since I was 10 though. And it's kind of like, it's like getting past the resume part. So I was like, all right, I need to create experience that makes it undeniable that I understand beauty and I understand marketing and branding. So I created my blog as like a personal resume of, I'm going to organically build a brand. I'm not going to pay for any advertising. I'm going to just get online and make content and build an audience. And then after a year of that, once I realized I had figured out, okay, I have replaced my full-time job income
Wow.
That's amazing.
I'm quitting my job, and now I don't need to work for the brands that I was applying for jobs to, because now I have contracts with these brands. And it's, you know, it's allowed me to be able to do so many more things. Like if I would have gotten another desk job, there, you know, hair school probably wouldn't have happened with Aveda. The product line doesn't come. Like there are things I just probably would have never gotten to. It just, it would have escaped me. I would have gotten buried in another 9-to-5 situation. So I did not see it coming. I just was like, well, I want to make a move. And if you're not going to let me in the front door, I'll go around the back. It's
well,
fine.
so what you're saying is you didn't have a seat at the table. You created the table.
Right.
The entire table.
Basically, it's like, I mean, if I want you to tell me yes, I have to show you why. I can't just say, I can't just say, give me a chance. And then you'll see like, well, I'm going to prove to you that I can do this. And, you know, at first I was like, I'll do this for a year or so. And then I'll have like something to show on my resume. Like, look at this brand I built. And then it was like, actually, I'm just going to keep going with this because this is working. You know, being in front of the camera, making videos. Like I had always done creative work. I creatively directed quite a few photo shoots and videos, but like actually filming myself and, you know, so just going through the learning curve. And, you know, at first it would take so much to get a video done. And now it's like, I know what I need to do. So I've got it more streamlined, and it's been years of it. And having the opportunity to, you know, do television, to do brand events. I've been able to do a ton of public speaking engagements, like, you know, Essence Festival, all of that stuff. And I even do consulting for brands behind the scenes. Like there are a lot of products sitting on shelves that I had a hand in helping that brand formulate.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
There are so many ways to participate in this industry. I even had a salon for 3 years. So, and then I decided, okay, I'll get out of that because I know my product line is about to come out and all of this stuff. So, I mean, you can have any number of pots to put your hand in this space. You can be an educator. You can
it's multifaceted.
You can do services. You can speak. You can consult. Like people take for granted that consulting piece because the brands that are making things, they generally don't have the consumer piece of it figured out.
Right.
Like they're used, like when you all see stuff
and they don't have us in the room.
Right.
People like us
out there, you're like, wow, that was crazy. Because nobody was in the room to tell them don't say that. So, you know, I've pretty much become the voice in the room consultant to quite a few mass market kind of places because I'm like, can't do that, can't say that, don't do that, that's wrong. No. So it was like, yeah, I can totally see that you all are struggling. Allow me.
Right. So aha moment, Tiyana, you got to tell us, like, when did you know? Because I've kind of seen your blossom, right?
Yeah.
When did you get that epiphany?
And I've shared the whole journey, which is the beautiful thing about social media, because we can share our journey authentically. You know, my aha moment came like 2.5 years into being a makeup artist. So I actually come from a background in hair as well. I was doing marketing and sales for another hair extensions brand called Argini. And so I started doing makeup, but about 2.5 years into being a freelance artist, I had built up my audience, and I was at a point where I was booked. Like I was booked every weekend doing lots of weddings, and I was exhausted. And I wanted to leave my full-time job, but I just didn't see how I could accept more clients. Because here's the thing, when you sell what you physically do, your physical labor, when you're a hairstylist and a makeup artist, and you're limited by how many clients you can accept, right? There's always that ceiling. And so I was like, well, I don't really know how I could like scale this business more because I'm already at capacity with clients, right? Like I can't physically accept more clients. And unlike hairstyles where you can kind of, you know, fill up your books on the week, women need makeup on weekends. You know what I mean? Like they're not that much happening during
not a 9 to 5.
Yeah. So I got to a point where I was like, how can I grow my business? How can I leave my full-time job? How can I have a lifestyle that I really, because I'm not in the starving artist ministry. Like that would never. So I was like, how can I build a business and be a 6 and potentially 7-figure makeup artist and make it work? And so I started looking at the artists out there that were killing it. And what I noticed was that they don't just do makeup. They have a makeup line. They are consultants. They have a brush line. They're teaching classes. They have, right? Like they have this suite of things that they do. And one of the things that I learned very early in my career is success leaves clues. So if I want to have a business where I'm not tied to the chair, or the only way that I make money is when I pull up my kid and, you know, do a wedding or whatever, if I want to have freedom and not create another job for myself, then I had to diversify my income. So that was really my aha moment when I was like, I want to make this a full-time thing. I don't know how. And I really started to study what the successful people in the industry were doing. And I started to model that behavior. And people were asking me, so I was getting those God nods and those like affirmations along the way, because people were asking me how I was building my business so quickly, or how I was, you know, doing my makeup a certain way or whatever.
Or so, getting those curls in your hair, because I was one of those people.
And so I started by teaching. I would just teach what I knew. And that's how I started to scale and grow my business. So yeah, that was the moment for me.
Well, what I will say is that you've done a really great job of building your personal brand, right? And I know a lot of people that are listening to us right now, they're probably saying, okay, how I have this skill, like I'm an amazing stylist. I'm so used to being behind the chair, but I want the world to see this magic. How can I get from behind the chair and build that personal brand for myself, so I can be booked for speaking engagements, so I can, you know, get product deals and endorsements and things of that nature? What would you say to that?
Yeah. So the first things first is like, your phone is your microphone, right? You have this beautiful platform that you get to create from scratch and create whatever it is that you want. So when you are thinking about what you share in social media, it's not just about what you do, it's about the journey, right? Taking people behind the scenes. What does a day in your life look like? How are you serving your clients? How do you prepare for your clients? Like, people want to know that stuff. And sometimes makeup artists and beautypreneurs, we think that nobody wants to see that, but they really do. Like, it's entertainment. It's a way to connect. They want to see how you're growing your business. They want to see the products that you have in your kit, sharing all of that. Like Marquetta says, it builds that know, like, and trust factor, where they see you as not just the hairstylist or the makeup artist or the nail tech. They see Tiyana, they see Marquetta, they see Monica, who was building her empire, and they want to be on that journey with you. Everyone wants to see someone with, like, we love seeing people win. We love seeing that start from the bottom. Now we hear a story, right? And
Absolutely.
Like, I literally have documented my entire journey on Instagram. Like, I'm learning this new thing today. Like, all of that has been, you know, I've shared it to the world. And so even the people who could never book me for makeup, when I offer a class or a course, you know, if they can't buy it, they're tagging people. They're, you know, recommend, like, you know, it becomes a thing where they just want to see you win because they've been a part of this journey. And that's how you're able to offer products and, you know, beyond services and all the other things, how, you know, you diversify your business. But that's how you do it, because you have a tribe and a community that is rooting for you, that sees you as more than just a commodity, but they see you as a person, and they want to be a part of that story with you.
Right.
So document a tangible, like, can I just add to what
Absolutely.
A real tangible thing you can do as a hairstylist, makeup artist, whatever your art is that you're posting. If you just post a pretty picture and go, you can't create engagement.
Right.
Write a caption. If you're posting a finished look of hair that because I see this all the time especially on hairstylist pages, and they wonder why is my following not going up? Why can't I? Okay, we don't know what your voice is. You make this bomb style. It's perfect aesthetically, and then the caption is empty. What did you prepare? What were the steps taken? Is this your client? Did you help her overcome damage or something? Like, tell us the story of what we're looking at, because that is what is going to make, you know, people who organize events, people who look for speakers, people who are looking to book experts, they're trying to figure out, what would she say out loud if we bring her in? Who is this person? Can she articulate what she does in a way that's absorbable? Like, stop posting this perfect art and then neglecting to allow us to engage you, because we don't even know what we're looking at.
It opens up the door for other people to see whether or not they like how you speak. Everything that you just said,
and
I do that all the time too.
You questions, and you can talk back to them, and then they're going to send people to your page because you answered their questions. And I mean, it makes no sense to post work and then people are all in the comments, what did you use? What did you use? What did you use? And nobody's responding.
So what will you guys say to help guide these professionals in creating what their voice is to help establish that tribe?
Like, write a caption. If I said to you, what is this style? Just explain it to me. I started with, this shampoo, conditioner. I set her under the dryer. I blow dry. Then I cut. Then I use this flat. Like, whatever. What were the steps? What did you do? Because that's what people really want to know. Or if you have a tip like, this is how I got these curls like this. Here's my tip for that. Or your favorite tool to do it. Like, I mean, when I was in the salon, if I posted pictures or little video snippets of clients' hair, there was a caption of everything that I used, the steps, maybe even a couple tips. If I was trying to post it to prove a point, like, here's why y'all need to be getting y'all's ends clipped. Like, you can't just post beautiful stuff and go, because it doesn't allow anyone to get close to you. It doesn't allow anyone to have conversation with you. So when brands are looking for people to represent them, they're looking for people that have personalities that they feel like they understand and that they can see that are consistent, and people that are available to engage. A brand is not going to pay you to represent them for you to kind of like post and go. Like, they're going to expect you to respond to people and answer questions and, be available to your content. So I see so many people with amazing pictures, and I'm like,
there's nothing there. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of random hashtags in the caption. And I'm like, well, that's not letting anyone talk to you. It's kind of like a brick wall.
Yeah, and I call it social media because we're supposed to be social. So it speaks to your point. We have to socialize. We have to allow people to see the human side, and that also allows them to see our personality through the response and the engagement back and forth, and it allows them to say, oh, she is human. And
because if you look at the people that you're like, wow, how is she doing that? She's always getting booked for stuff. She's doing that. Go look under some of her pictures. I bet she's talking to people. I bet she got captions.
Yeah. Like, if you're comfortable with writing or putting those long captions in there, you could also finagle it by just putting all of the steps in the stories and starting to follow your stories, and then maybe just put a couple of words. This is step 1, step 2. So there's all sorts of ways to get that out there and engage.
And I think which is why going on. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's important to understand that that's not separate from what we do. Like, social media is such an important part of who we are as beauty pros. Like, we can't say, well, I'm busy, and no, it's like, that's how you build a business now as a beauty service provider. We are in the scene of profluence, right? Even when we think about brands, they're not just looking for the best, they're looking for a pro who also has influence. To piggyback on what Monica said, so the way that you build your influence and build an audience and bring value to like brands that want to work with you, like build your platform, is like you said, understanding how to find your voice, sharing what you're doing authentically. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but there have to be that opportunity for that back and forth. And I have to say, those questions that people ask in my, like, that's how I create products to sell. Like, that's how I know what solutions.
That's where you come up with where the gaps are.
Exactly. You got to look at your analytics and figure out what is your tribe saying to you. They're basically painting out all of the questions they want you to answer, right? They're telling you what they want to see more of. So everyone that's tuning in right now, I encourage you to look at the analytics, specifically in your Instagram, because it's there. It's telling you what they want to see. They want to, if you're known as a short hair stylist, shortcuts, and you're posting short haircuts and they're saying they love it, post more of it, right? Post more video content, because right now content is king, especially while we're all home during the quarantine. Everyone is on social media. So this is the time to really this is the time to really captivate your audience, right? So I wanted to ask Marquetta, because I've been watching a lot of your videos and you're so hands-on, especially with the ventilating. How are you able to turn such a hands-on product into a digital asset?
I think it goes back to what I said earlier with in the beginning of my process with that product or figuring that thing out. I didn't have anywhere to go in that moment. If nobody was there to teach, I always say to my students, I didn't have a Marquetta that was so willing to teach me how to do something. I didn't have that person. So I had to figure all of this out literally through dreams and visions and and trying this, and it didn't work. And at one point I was in tears. My husband said, "This is too much. Okay, you just stop." At one point, and I'm like, "No, I got to figure this out." But from all of that, that's when I said, "Okay, not only have I figured this thing out and I have my own way. I don't do it the traditional way like everybody else, because that's not how I learned. But I said, I don't ever want anybody else who wants to learn this skill to have to go through what I went through." So that's when I decided to turn it into, at that time it was DVDs, but now it's completely digital. But that was the catalyst. That was the thing. I never wanted anybody to have to go through what I went through. So I put it all together and put it into a digital course that people can consume. And the other thing that I always said is, I don't want to be that stylist that holds back information out of fear that somebody else is going to take it and grow and be bigger than me, because I don't care about that. I can truly say in my heart that I don't care. I would rather my students out succeed me any day of the week, because it means that I've done my job in teaching. So I don't ever hold information back or anything like that. I give it all, because that's what I would want. I truly live by that golden rule: do unto others as you will have them do unto you. I do not want to do or say or put anything out that I wouldn't want to consume or receive. So that's where I'm at.
Wow, that's so important, what you just said about sharing and not being afraid that somebody's basically going to take your idea, right? Because what I tell people, your idea is always going to be unique because you're doing it, right? You are the person behind it. So there's so many different t-shirt companies, but what sets them apart, right? There's so many paper towel companies, but what sets them apart, right? That personal branding, the branding behind it. Ericka, I just wanted to ask you, because I know your personal story of how you were able to create Indique, and you have physical stores. So what was the strategy behind opening like a freestanding store to sell hair extensions?
Yeah, so the idea behind it was to basically create a situation where a woman was able to shop for the perfect piece. And the reason why I say that is because the type of hair that we offer is Indian hair. Now we offer hair from Southeast Asia, and they're all very different. So when we launched the brand at the time, like I had mentioned about the beauty supply stores, you really couldn't they didn't even offer that type of product, first of all. But it was very, they did not give you any sort of respect. What I wanted is when a woman walked into our boutique, they were well respected. Would you like some water? All of those things, just really pampering the Black woman, because we do know that the premium hair, at least back in 2007 when we launched, most people weren't hip with the idea of paying over $100 for one piece of hair, right? So also you want to make sure that they're comfortable with, this type of purchase. And also I just wanted it to feel very extravagant and lush and just very different than what I had experienced at the beauty supply stores. And once we were able to pull together that concept and it worked, we just started opening up more boutiques. And to this day, we have 16 boutiques in the United States, also in Ghana. It just worked. And
wow.
Back to what I said earlier, it was all about me just going within, figuring out what it is that I wanted as a client, because not only, you know, I was a hairstylist, but I was also the client because I was the person also shopping for hair. So really just trying to fill that void. So if you're thinking, you know what, after all this is over, this COVID, I think I want to open up my own shop. Just think about the things that you would like to experience and the way that you would like to be treated. And I can guarantee you that it's going to work because it's within your heart. And you know, if you can offer that, then people are going to understand, like, you know, I want to support this sister. I'm going to tell all my friends about the product. And if the product is bomb, you know, you're gold.
Yeah. Right. So I'm looking in the comments and someone, her name is Suzanne, she asked, how did you realize you could teach? And this goes for all of you, right? Because all of you guys are educators, and specifically makeup, right? Because she said, because not every skill MUA has capabilities to teach. So Tiyana, I want you to lead us off on that one.
Let me tell you, I went into teaching, kicking and screaming. I didn't know that I was naturally gifted at teaching. It's so funny because so often your gift, the thing that you're meant to do, is like right beyond your biggest fear. And speaking and teaching was like the thing that I feared the most. But I wanted to grow my business, and I linked up with a business coach, and she encouraged me to have a class, and I did the thing, and I was like, wow, okay, I can do this. So it literally came after doing it, after, you know, saying, okay, what do I want my life, my business to look like? Teaching is an option. There are people who are asking me for this thing. Let me just dip my toe in and try and see if it resonates with me. And you know, it did. And I sucked at first. And I still am not, you know, not the best, you know, the best, but like Marquetta said, I share authentically, and I share what I know, and I just, you know, put it out and hope that it lands, you know, the way that I intended to. And it's been working. So, you know, after you do the expertise, the skill comes from doing it and practicing it. Just like with makeup, you know, you get better the more and more you practice it, the more that you do it. Teaching is also a muscle. So I think the first step is just putting yourself out there and actually doing it.
Wow, that's amazing. So Marquetta, I will ask you the same question.
I would probably say in the beginning, I was still active duty Air Force, and I was just doing hair. That's how I got through basic training without having to do any of our duties, because I would trade braiding hair for whatever we had to do. So I never cleaned the bathroom or anything like that. So when I got to my first duty station, which was Langley Air Force Base, I met my husband, and he was like, well, you should teach people how to do that. And my husband is a tall white man with blonde hair and blue eyes. He knows nothing about black hair. At that point, he didn't. So I'm like, no, that's for other people. That's not for me. I don't want to do that. So he's like, no. And he came to me with this great idea. And I was like, well, he might be onto something. I said, but I don't know how to teach. He said, just do me this one favor. And at one point it was getting on my nerves because I just wanted him to stop asking me to teach because I love to do so much. So then I said, fine, okay, I'll teach it. Had no clue what I was doing. A couple of days later, he had a film guy sitting in our kitchen of our 600 square foot apartment in Hampton, Virginia, ready to film our first DVD. Now,
wow.
All my life, but I never had to teach anybody. So I really had to exercise a muscle that I didn't even know existed. But I realized once I sat down and I thought about it and had to put it in layman's terms, it clicked just like that. I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this. And so it was the tiny little things and tweaks that I made over the years. Like, for instance, at the end of that cornrow, that first cornrow, I was just putting on the rubber band. And my husband said, but what are you doing? I said, I'm putting on a rubber band. Come on, everybody knows that. He said, but I don't. And I went, okay, I get it. So I have to be very descriptive. So I went back to the thought process. I went back to when I was in, I think it was 3rd or 4th grade, when you had to write down how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then you give somebody your paper and they have to make it exactly how you wrote down. So if you didn't say grab the bread, then they don't know to grab the bread.
And there's no salad.
I approach teaching. Like, I'm serious. I have a YouTube video called the Ultimate Box Braids tutorial, whatever it's called. That video annoys so many people, but at the end of their annoyance, they're like, oh my gosh, this video is so great. Because I talk so much in teaching in the beginning that by the time they get to the other part, they know everything there is to know about box braids. But that's how I approach it. But I think that if you're wanting to teach, you have to start from zero. That's why I always say, because a lot of people don't know if they're coming to you to learn something. A lot of times it's because they have no clue how to do that thing. So they may not know some of the terminologies or things like that. So it's important to start from zero and then move forward. And you'll know if you have the patience to teach once you start doing that. You'll know real fast.
Right.
You'll know very quickly. Like, oh no,
Right.
it's not for me. Because
Yep, I got to pivot.
so pivot real fast.
Right. So we're about to run out of time, but before we go, I want you guys to each share with everyone what you do in terms of like your website, any offerings that you have right now, especially during COVID-19. So Monica, we're going to start with you.
Yes, so I have a product line of 8 products that consist of cleansing and styling for textured hair, but can also be used on straight hair too. And a lot of people have told me they really enjoy it on their extensions. So that is a definite bonus if you're using clip-ins or wigs right now, all of that. But you can find the collection online at sallybeauty.com. It's the Mono's Hair Curl Collection. And some stores are actually offering curbside pickup. So that's cool. And you can go on the website and check that out and see if stores around you are. But yeah, I would greatly appreciate you all following me, checking out some of my YouTube content. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and listening and sharing today. I appreciate y'all.
Awesome. Marquetta?
All right, I am Marquetta Breslin, and you can find everything I do over on marquettabreslin.com. I've got some online classes and all that good stuff. I just launched my digital marketing agency called Breslin Fortin. Breslin Fortin Digital Marketing Agency. That is open and ready as well. And I guess the newest thing that I have right now is a daily show that I do with my husband called Marquetta Breslin Live. My husband co-hosts the show with me, but we share so much about business strategies, marketing advice, and there's inspiration, motivation, and so much more that's on that show. I would love for everybody to tune in. It's at 9 a.m. right on my YouTube channel. It's free. We usually go for about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, if it's real good.
I love that. Right. Okay, Miss Tiyana.
Hey, okay, so I am Tiyana Robinson Beauty on Instagram. That's where my beauty party is. We are in a season of pivoting, a season of shifting, because the reality of what it's going to look like to be a makeup artist, a beauty pro, hairstylist is going to be different, right? And so I'm really looking to have this conversation about how do we pivot? How do we bring our businesses online in the beauty space? And so I'm actually hosting a completely free 3-day training in which I'm going to share the full process of how do you think about what you're going to offer, how do you put together the offer, all of that good stuff from start to finish. And so it's going to be at the top of June. So if you want to be notified about when that's going to happen and how you can sign up, you can just go to makeupmoguluniversity.com. That's going to be a wait list. And when you sign up for the wait list, I will definitely let you know about that training. It's going to happen at the very top of June. And then enrollment for Makeup Mogul University will happen directly after that. So yeah, that's what I've got going on.
That's awesome. Okay, Ericka.
I'm Ericka Dotson, co-founder of Indique Hair, and you can find our products at indiquehair.com. We have loads of textures, from kinky curls to silky straight, all the way from 10 inches all the way down to 32 inches. We have wigs, closures, frontals, clip-ins, even hair for the little keratin tip installations. Our Instagram is I Love Indique. We're on Twitter as well, I Love Indique. My handle is Ericka Dotson. I need to grow more followers. Follow me. I'm not doing but I'm gonna do better. Anyway, we always have promotions and sales going on, so check our website and also sign up for our email blast because you'll find the promotions there. And thank you so much, Yanae.
Yeah, I wanted to thank all of our panelists for giving us your time. My moderator, I appreciate you because I could not have done this all day long. I would have lost my mind. Everybody who's tuning in, we have our final panel coming up, and it is the art of community, which is what this whole entire panel is about. We are specifically going to talk about how, as beauty professionals, we have to think about moving forward with the COVID-19. So we have a great panel. We're going to break for like 5 minutes, and we'll be back on. And just know that we are going to collect all the information from all of our panelists, and we will be sending you direct emails with links to all of their information, how to stay in contact with them. Make sure you follow them online. Thank you, ladies, for everything you do for our community, and thank you for showing up and showing out today. I am forever grateful.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.